like my dad used to say, you know, if you want something doing, you ask somebody who's busy.
Yeah. So I was just doing this morning. You've already missed out on 12 deals. Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome along to our latest behind the scenes piece. This time we're focusing on one of our many valued partners here at Land Power TV, which is Societe Generale Equipment Finance. First of all, have I pronounced that correctly?
It's better than I can do, James.
Right.
With my accent, I think we're both struggling.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll call it SGEF from now on, shall we?
Off with that,
or
James.
SG, or SocGen.
Yeah.
So SocGen, basically massive French finance company.
Yeah, big bank, yeah.
So to help us basically learn more about the company, we have Mr. Stephen Davis from the firm, who is basically going to talk us through basically what they do from top to bottom, basically, in a nutshell. And then on top of that, we're going to do another video as well, looking at some of the finance options that these guys do. But also that'll be a really good, valuable video for you guys, especially if you are weighing up your finance options, especially when it comes to cracking a few myths and working out what's what and what's good and what to avoid and things like that. So to illustrate Societe Generale Equipment Finance, we're here at Guy Machinery Limited here in Gisborne. So they've got many franchises including Crone, Kuhn, Can-Am, Iford Williams Trailers for example. But for now we shall crack on and learn more about SocGen. So well, we'll start with you, Stephen, because I mean, well, what's your role at SocGen?
Yeah, thanks, James. I'm a national account manager for SGEF. So look after the sort of the northern territory of the UK. There's a colleague of mine who does the same job as me in the south. So yeah, our route to market is however sort of and however which way the customer would like to deal with us. So whether that be direct with a dealer, through a manufacturer scheme, or we work with a group and a selected group of agricultural specialist brokers, right, who are much like ourselves, really sort of integrated within the agricultural community, have that real sort of affinity with the industry, a specialist at what they do.
So many routes to your cash.
Many. Indeed, hopefully. Yeah.
So your role then, and your colleague David's as well. So what's involved sort of day to day in that role then?
Yeah, well, we set off 15 years ago now. So we're the equipment finance division of SocGen, which is a big French bank, one of the biggest sort of global retail banks. And yeah, 15 years ago we set off with the aim to support UK farming business, support those businesses in enabling growth and enable them to succeed. So we sort of try and live by a mantra of we support, you succeed.
Right.
And that's really what we sort of try and live by and embed within our approach.
So the equipment finance side of the business, that is part of the bigger picture of Societe Generale, is that right? Yeah,
indeed, yeah. So we sort of specialise in silos in the UK. So within those silos, we agriculture is a really prominent one. Transport, industry and construction is another. We do a lot of good work in high tech space. We deal with a lot of businesses and companies that are household names across all those divisions. Like I said, we really sort of specialise and have an affinity in the silos and departments that we work in. I probably I love my job because it's in farming. Sort of agriculture to me is I've got a close affinity to it. My dad set off in business and in life in farming and dairy farming, and went to college not far from here at Myerscough, animal husbandry,
right?
I think it was back in the day. So so it's really and we're all like that. So all the myself and David and Glenn within the team, we're all sort of that ilk.
Yeah. So you have a proper understanding of farming.
And that's it really, and I think that really adds value to the people we deal with because we talk the language.
Well, that's it, because when you mention finance to anybody, you think, oh, big faceless corporation, counting numbers behind the scene. Yeah. But in actual fact, it's people like you on the ground, making things happen. Yeah, exactly, and it's really key for us as well because we can then put the correct story and put the right pictures to the words. With our office, internally and underwriting when it comes to sort of approving and underwriting a deal. So yeah, and again, we look to put systems and procedures in place that make things easy or as easy as possible. With pretty simple sausages. You sat there with abacus on the desk. But we really sort of try and not make it complicated. Yeah. I think as finance people, you can overcomplicate things and you can soon start to bamboozle. Yeah, and which hopefully in this second video we're going to strip back some of that. We'll bust them myths. Yeah. So SGEF, just give us an idea of the scale of the company. Yeah, it's a good question because we often it's my opinion and my view, but I often tell people we're the biggest finance company you've never heard of. We fund around 7,000 agreements a year, so it's a lot. Is that just in ag, or is that's just ag? That's just ag. So that's just into UK farming business. Like we fund those agreements. In our world, and this isn't farming hours or farming days. This is financing working days. Yeah. It's around 30 deals a day. Like my dad used to say, if you want something doing, you ask somebody who's busy. Yeah. So I was just doing this morning. You've already missed out on 12 deals. So for all the ag businesses in the UK, and even the forestry and the ground care and things like that, what does SGF do for these businesses? Yeah, well, that was the aim 15 years ago was to sort of enable those businesses to growth and to facilities for purchasing equipment, new or used equipment, to help sort of make often purchase equipment that at that period of time isn't necessarily affordable in terms of being able to just cash purchase, because I think farm machinery gets ever more expensive, doesn't it? Oh, you're not kidding. Which keeps me in a job, which is good. But times have changed, and you previously, my dad probably would tell you that you don't buy something unless you can afford it, and that means having the cash in the bank and writing that check. And that just isn't really the case these days, and it can't be the case if you want to sort of grow the business. And so yeah, we enable those purchases by and obviously with us and having the understanding we do in terms of seasonal repayments and cash flow match payments, and the different facilities we offer, whether it's a purchase agreement, a leasing agreement, a hire agreement, so to suit sort of any one business's sort of particular needs, really. And you mentioned you doing about 7,000 deals a year? A year, yeah. So how many customers are you currently supporting in ag at the moment? Live customers around 20,000. We'll have paid out in excess of 1.5 billion in the last 15 years. Right. So yeah, it's a novel one actually when we come across a customer we don't know. So that's always nice. But yeah, and it's great to see the sort of organic sort of growth of the customers, whether it's an end user customer of a piece of machinery, whether it's a dealer that we've supported in respect to dealer facilities that we offer, manufacturers. It's great when we can work with a manufacturer and facilitate sort of their growth. So when it comes to farm machinery manufacturers, are there any particular makes that you deal with, or? Yeah, well, we'll finance anything. Right. So sort of new or used, really. We offer your standard sort of financing facilities, hire purchase, lease purchase, finance lease, operating lease. We fund business loan for breeding livestock and farm work on farm, sort of farm upgrades. Well, I was going to say, because it's not just about the machines and the equipment, it's you got all the infrastructure and stock and definitely, and we see that, and
we've had a good focus for a number of years now, and there's ever more focus on it in respect of renewable energy. So whether it be solar panels on farm building roofs, or small-scale anaerobic digesters, biomass boilers, I think farm diversification is a key thing, isn't it? So you know, again, the one certainty in farm is uncertainty. Yeah. So any farm diversification that can give any sort of guaranteed return is great. Yeah. I think now 40% of UK farming businesses have diversified in terms of some sort of renewable energy.
Well, I was going to say, you must have seen in, you know, like the last 15 years, yeah, you must have seen some fair old change in that time.
Yeah, and you know, it's sort of accelerated just recently, hasn't it? There's so much coverage, isn't there, now, and it's in everybody, so forefront in everyone's mind, isn't it, around sort of ecological issues and global warming. So you know, I think farming is in a really good place to really contribute. I think 10% of farmland now is contributing in some sort of way to renewable energy and creating a green way of producing the energy need. I think it powers over 10 million homes, I think, now, in terms of green energy production from farmland. So, and that's only going to grow.
Well, that's it. There's a lot of opportunities out there. So you just rhymed off a few financing, sort of different types of financing. Obviously, we're going to go into more depth in our other little financing top tips video, so yeah, definitely go check that one out, especially if you're in the market for some finance. I mean, when it comes to getting finance, you mentioned there's several routes people can get at you. Yeah. Just kind of put it in context, sort of some of the relationships that you have with, you know, sort of, you know, when it comes to, you know, with the manufacturer, the dealer, the broker, or whoever, really.
Yeah, well, we've over the 15 years we've provided financing through manufacturers. I think everybody sort of, you talk about John Deere. I think John Deere are synonymous, aren't they, with it's yellow, green wheels, and it's 1+2 at 0%. Yeah, I think masters of marketing. But so yeah, we work with manufacturers in you know, respect of some of those schemes. We're at Guy Machinery today, so Can-Am is a manufacturer that we've worked with for 3 years now, and providing financing schemes and facilities for customers purchasing quad bikes and side-by-sides. We've worked with manufacturers on schemes such as that, and enabling, you know, dealers and to cost versus price. So it's not what it's going to sort of, it's not how much is it, it's what it's going to cost me. Yeah. And I think that was where finance and 0% finance sort of emanated, really. That was why it was, I think it was Zeta actually who launched a product at, sort of, you know, in terms of selling on affordability and selling on a rental and a repayment. And it's sort of grown arms and legs from there, and there's an argument. Maybe we'll get into this on a later piece. Again, my opinion, but it's grown arms and legs, and maybe what it was designed for then has changed, and it's become something else now. And necessarily whether that's right or not, I'm not in terms of customer getting the best deal. I'm not sure. But yeah, you know, we facilitate those schemes and you know, dealers and you know, if a customer and a dealer's talking to a customer about a sale and a purchase and how they can facilitate that. And then, yeah, as I say, through our network of sort of independent agricultural brokers all across from each corner of the UK. Right. You know, from the top of Scotland to Land's End over into Northern Ireland. You know, we've got it covered.
So you're pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, and you know, we build our business on relationships. We're very much relationship driven, service driven. You know, we're a service industry, so if you're going to provide a service, you might as well get it right.
That's it.
So we try and do that. You know, digitalisation's a big buzzword. I don't even know if it is a word, but like something you
usually it sounds good.
You hear it. So whether it be by way of electronic documents on email, that, you know, a farmer, a contractor can sign on an iPhone in the cab of a tractor, you know, we can do that. So yeah, just sort of making it easy, working with people we know, we trust them, they trust us. Yeah, it's sort of We say in finance, our £5 note, our finance agreement doesn't look a lot different than anybody else's. So we're a differentiator. So and it tends to be people, doesn't it? Thankfully, everything's becoming more digitalised, more autonomous. We still deal a lot with people.
It is still very much a people business, isn't it?
And again, that's what and I love that, because I'm probably not good at much other than maybe talking to somebody. so and I think that's really good, isn't it? And I think you said right at the outset, faceless bank effect, and I think it is becoming more like that, isn't it? We hear a lot, because I spoke to a customer yesterday about a frustration with trying to contact his bank, and it was an automated system, and punching numbers on your keypad.
Well, that's it.
Yeah, it's. I think again, the affinity and the love I have for the agricultural industry and the people within it it's a real people industry still, and people still deal with people, and an handshake's still a deal.
That's it, yeah.
And I think you don't get that now in a lot of industry, and with a lot of.
I can't even think of another industry that might even do it.
And it's a shame.
Yeah.
But luckily, we live and breathe it still, so that's great.
Perfect. Well, I think on that note, we'll wrap it up there. I mean, thank you very much for your time and giving us an insight into SGEF in the UK and your activities. Hopefully, I mean, like all our other partners on Land Power TV, these guys may be able to help you out. So yeah, check them out. Check out their website. And as we've already mentioned, we're going to be doing a few more videos with these guys as well. The next one being financing top tips and a bit of myth busting around finance. So yeah, go check that one out, and we'll see you then.